Summer has come to pass. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends.
It's not September.
No, it's not. And we're not sleeping.
It's March.
Yeah.
And this isn't Green Day. This is American Brews and Tunes.
Wahoo!
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity beeby dow!
All right, welcome to another episode of American Brews and Tunes.
Yes, welcome, one and all.
This is episode number 32. Last week, as you all know, we had our one-off episode featuring Harry Styles.
We sure did.
And this week, we are back to our regular program,
Regular scheduled programming.
in which we recommend albums for the others to listen to. But this one has a theme. Yes,
it does.
It's all about the rap.
It's all about the rap, hip hop.
What up with the rap, yo?
What up with the rap and the hip hop, yo?
Because of what I just said is why I'm not in a rap group.
Yes.
So
here.
yeah, we've been listening to albums of rap artists. I have been listening to an album called Mourning in America and Dreaming in Color by Brother Ali.
Yep, and I've been listening to an album by the Beastie Boys called To the Five Boroughs.
Wow. Two great rap albums, if you ask me. But we also actually have a theme about our beer, too, kind of.
We kind of do, yeah.
Yeah, I like... It's not morning, but, you know, I could use a little jolt, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and what better way to get a jolt in the morning than by having a beer?
Yeah.
Right?
A coffee beer.
Coffee beer.
So, unlike the one-off episodes, we do have different beers that we're trying, but they both have coffee in them.
Yeah, they both, well, I mean, like, they both have coffee.
Yeah.
They're not, like, literally a coffee beer, but...
Beers that have coffee in them.
In them.
Yeah. So before we talk about the albums, we'll talk about our beers.
Yeah, why not?
Why not, indeed?
I'm really excited to try my beer as well as... Well, I'm excited to drink my beer.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited to try yours.
Me as well. I've had this one for a while.
Yeah, I'm looking at the date that it was bottled right now.
Yeah, so it's actually about 2.5 years
2.5
now.
years old.
I've been aging it in my beer cellar, aka my closet. I bought this in a box set of 4 different beers, and as you all remember, I can't remember which episode number it was, but when we were talking about our first hoppy beers,
Yes.
you had the Arrogant Bastard by Stone.
Yes.
And so this is a kind of a play on that per se. It's another Arrogant Bastard beer, but it's every year, once a year, I guess that's a better way to phrase it, they release the Double Bastard, which is a much more intense version of the Arrogant Bastard. So
Yep.
I have that usually once a year because it's a really good beer, but it is intense.
But as we said earlier, this is coffee.
So this is a different version of the Double Bastard called the Depth Charged Double Bastard.
Oh.
So it's the Double Bastard Ale brewed with espresso beans.
Which
My gosh.
sounds really interesting. For some reason, in my mind, it just now clicked that it's a double bastard with espresso beans.
And now, like, I'm holding it up to the light, and you can see all the sediment
wow,
sitting at the
you
bottom.
can.
It's crazy.
That looks cool.
I don't know if it's because it was cellared or if it's just... I don't know. Who knows?
Mine. I can't see through mine in the light.
What do you have?
Want to know why I can't?
Why?
Because it's black as the night, I assume. I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah, but, well, I guess I should say that the Double Bastard is an American strong ale, so it's not...
Yeah.
Not super dark in color, I suppose, but we'll see when I open it.
But that's why earlier I, like literally just a second ago, I like didn't put the fact together that it was a double bastard.
Yeah.
Even though it says double bastard.
Depth charged
And then
Double
I was
Bastard.
like, oh yeah, it's like a strong ale with espresso beans.
Yeah.
That'll be
it's going to be strong all over the place if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, wink wink. whatever that means.
The funny thing is that Steve didn't actually wink there. He just kind of said wink wink. Wait,
Wink, wink.
Did you wink?
I don't know. I winked in my mind.
Did you double wink?
My mind's eye winked.
Did you double wink?
I thinked. I think to wink.
You think the wink? I think that sounds like a beginning of like a Shel Silverstein poem.
I think to wink.
I think to wink. That one night last night when I think to winked. Think to wink. Think to wink.
Think a wink.
Think a wink.
Oh, goodness. Well, what beer are you having?
As I said, it's a dark one. And, of course, there are, a couple of types of beers that you can't see through. One of them is stouts, and that's what this is.
Oh, is it now?
Yes, it's a stout. This is a beer from Lagunitas Brewing Company.
Yes.
And it is a 2017 one-hitter. So which means they brew it one time.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
At least for that year. I'm not sure if they do multiple iterations of the same one-hitter.
I don't know. I think it's generally like the one and done, like they do it.
I think so. So that's why I'm very much looking forward to this beer. Again, this is from a one-hitter series, and it is a coffee stout aged in rye oak barrels.
What's it called?
What's surprising about this is that it's aged in willet barrels.
So what do they call this beer?
Well, if you were to put beer in one of those barrels, what would be a good way to describe it?
Bourbon barrel aged.
Nope.
I mean, that would be a good way to describe it.
Well, actually, it's rye oak.
All right.
Barrels.
Rye oak barrel aged.
Nope. They go a different series with this one hitter.
Yeah.
They call it the Willettized Coffee Stout.
Oh, interesting. And now I have had a different variation of this called the High Westified Coffee Stout, and I can't really, off the top of my head, remember what that one was. I remember it was really good, but it was intense. It was like it was well over 10%, so I know it was a boozy.
Yeah, this one's
hard
12.6.
Oh my goodness. That's really intense. I don't think mine's that. Well, mine is pretty boozy too. It's 11.
Now, on the side of this bottle, it says, "Life is uncertain. Don't sip." I'm not going to take that advice, Lagunitas. I'm going to sip this one.
I think that might be like their slogan for all their
I think
their
so,
beer stuff,
but they should change it just for this one.
for this one. Please do sip.
Please sip this.
Please
Do not chug this.
Oh, what's...
Do you know much about the Willett Distillery?
I really don't know too much about
Neither
it.
do I.
I believe it's a bourbon distillery.
I'm fairly certain that it's high quality stuff.
Yeah, I believe it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
One would be led to believe so.
One would be led to believe that, yes.
Now, I do know that when you open a bag of coffee beans, you're overwhelmed with a delicious smell. So
my gosh. Even before you open, the ones that have those little tiny holes in them that you can squeeze and then smell the goodness.
The scent hole.
The scent hole.
Yeah, where when you squeeze the bag, it like pushes the air out.
Yeah, kind of like a centaur. Except scent hole.
Oh, gosh. So I'm curious when we open this if we're going to smell coffee.
I think that we're both going to.
Also, maybe not.
Yours is going to be a very strange, weird scent of coffee. Because
Maybe.
you're also going to be smelling the strong ale.
Also, mine has been aged for 2.5 years.
Yeah, yours could be really intense and weird.
I don't know. I have no idea what to expect, in all honesty.
The only way to find out is to give it a little crickety crack and open it up.
Oh, I still got some, after 2.5 years, it still has some nice carbonation in there.
Alrighty, let's see.
I'm not really getting too much in the way of coffee scents.
I can't say that I'm surprised.
I'm going to pour mine out and see what the dealio is.
Okay. Well, you know what? Whenever you figure out what the dealio is, let me know.
Well, it looks exactly as I remember the Double Bastard looks. It's really kind of a dark amber. What would you call it? Almost dark red.
A darker amber.
A reddish amber. And it looks pretty thick. How's your smell?
I can smell the bourbon barrels much more than the coffee, but maybe that'll change once I pour it into the glass.
I'm curious. That makes sense. Let me give it a quick smell before you pour it. I smell like chocolate and bourbon. That's what I'm getting out of that.
Yeah, but
I don't know if I'm smelling much in the way of coffee. Actually,
well, I think the chocolate that you're smelling is actually the coffee.
It could be. Maybe.
Well, not actually the coffee, but there's coffee underneath
scent.
that chocolate. This is pouring very nicely. It has kind of a strange colored head. It's almost like brown and a little bit of red. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like tan or brown. It's like kind of like a weird brown red.
I would say it's like a dark tan, dark brown.
I mean, yeah, you're right. But maybe it's just the lighting. It looks kind of red to me. Now, why don't we give these a shot?
I think that's a good idea. And as we always say on American Brews and Tunes before we try the beers,
the little catchphrase,
shibbity-boo-doo! Oh my, the coffee is there. it's that dry bitterness, like the straight like roasty bitterness that you get from coffee.
Yeah.
None of the sweetness. Like it's when you think espresso beans, you don't think something that's going to be sweet. You think a really thick, dark, bitter flavors, and that's what I'm getting out of this.
Really?
Not too much in the way of the dark fruit sweetness that you normally get out of a strong ale like this.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's really coffee, really espresso-y.
Really?
Yeah. When they say depth charged,
Is it kind of like
they took an espresso bomb and depth charged this beer. That's what a depth charge is, right? It's like they dump it in the water and it blows up at a certain depth or something.
I think so.
So maybe they like took their like a bath bomb, but it was an espresso bomb, and they put it into their brew kettles, and the coffee bath bomb went into the beer, and then when it reached a certain depth, it exploded, and coffee was everywhere. My goodness, this tastes so bitter and dark. It's really delicious, but based on the smell, I was not
You
expecting
were not
that
expecting that type of flavor.
at all. No.
Very
Wow.
interesting. I also was not expecting, for as far as my beer goes,
Yeah.
this to be so intense.
How is it?
It's really, really good. I just finished checking it in on Untapped, best beer app ever.
It truly is.
I gave it 5 out of 5, man. It's so good. It's super intense. You can the bourbon flavors are like really coming through like really well. The way my taste buds have tasted this, it came in 3 layers,
Okay.
almost like a 3-layer cake. If you were to eat it from top to bottom, the 3-layer cake has no frosting.
Okay, so there's no sweetness at all.
There's sweetness, but that's not my metaphor or analogy would be completely ruined if there was frosting on it, because then I would be eating that first. Because the sweetness doesn't come through first, is what I'm saying.
So there might be a layer of frosting in the middle, but not outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
You got
picture
me?
your analogy in my head.
You got me?
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? Like
It's a
a
chocolate
multiple
cake,
layer
too.
cupcake where someone pulled off the bottom and put it on top. So it's like a sandwich. You know what I mean?
But it's a really thin layer of frosting.
Okay.
It's not like one of those cupcakes where it's like
I'm trying to
half frosting and half cupcake.
I'm trying to run your analogy, but I shouldn't. I'll let you analogize.
It's basically there's just 3 layers. That's really the only. That's the depth of my analogy.
Well, there's a lot of depth over here if you catch what I'm saying. A lot of depth.
So the first layer, the top layer, whenever I bite into this piece of cake, is a very, very strong bourbon flavor.
Okay.
Not like it's not like boozy like some other ones where it almost feels like you're drinking liquor, but it's like a very nice, mellow, oaky, woody sweetness.
Okay, yeah.
The second layer you get hit with chocolate, like cray cray.
Like bitter chocolate or like
Bitter
milk chocolate.
chocolate.
Okay.
Not milk chocolate, thank goodness. That'd be really bad.
Or would it be?
And then the last layer, of course, is the coffee.
Okay.
Man, oh man. Probably not espresso type coffee.
This is
Yeah, but it's like a really smooth, probably like medium roast almost.
okay. I can see that.
And it comes in at the end after everything else. And actually, it's almost like this third layer is separated from the entire cupcake somehow. Mm-hmm. And you take a bite of those first 2, and then you're like, I'm gonna take a bite of a different cake, and then after you swallow the first bite of cake,
And to wash it down your gullet, you coffee. You take a sip of coffee to wash that cake down your gullet. How about that?
That's even a better one. Yeah.
Remember how I was
So it's
talking
just
about?
a 2-layer cake.
Remember I was talking about how bitter my beer is?
Yes.
Has 100 IBU level.
Really?
Yeah, so that's one of the few, or maybe I don't know if I've seen a non
One of the few
IPA get to 100 like this.
Yeah, true.
So it's definitely not a hoppy bitterness, but it is bitter. So let's do a little switch ski and see
This
what we
is
think.
39. Mine's only 39.
It's
IBU.
very
It's
different.
still pretty good. All right, I'm ready for this.
Oh, that bourbon's
Wow.
really nice up front.
Yeah.
And yours,
Just wait for a little bit of sweetness.
Okay, yeah. That's
And
I really
coffee
like
is-
the one
yeah,
you
it's
had.
really good.
I'd say mine's way thicker though.
Yeah,
For-
it feels like it is. It's not thicker, but it has like a more intense feeling.
You know what I'm
Mouth
talking about? The
feel,
bitterness though.
It's really bitter.
It is.
It's like eating a straight espresso bean.
Yes.
Just going like this.
And there's a little bit of the double bastard flavor, but most of it's espresso.
Yeah.
I like it, but
That's really good.
It's intense.
That's going to be a doozy.
Yes, it is. It already is a doozy, if you know what I'm saying.
I do
You know what I'm
you're
saying? All right, now that we know what each other is saying, let's dive into the music.
Now that we understand each other.
Let's take our coffee and rap with it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sounds good.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, I do know what you are saying. I'm going to go first just because I want to.
Okay.
That's a good enough reason.
Just because I want
And
to.
I can't remember who went first last time.
I don't remember either, so it's all good.
So just to reiterate, I am reviewing the album Mourning in America and Dreaming in Color, and mourning is spelled Mourning. So
Yeah.
like mourning or grieving or
Like, sad.
yeah. And the artist is Brother Ali. His real name is Ali Douglas Newman, but his birth name was Jason, not Ali. He converted to Islam when he was 15, and he picked the name Ali in homage to Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Kind of interesting, huh? So he has a very unique set of characteristics.
Yes, he does.
Well, to be a Muslim rapper is interesting enough to begin with, but he's also albino.
Yep.
So he's got no pigmentation in his skin. I believe that's what it is. His
Yeah.
eyes are red. His skin's almost like pale, like see-through almost. And that because there's no pigment in his eyes, he's technically legally blind.
Yeah.
He can still see, but he classifies as being legally blind.
Yeah.
But his rap's really different than what I expected. He's very socially conscious. I mean, obviously by looking at the title
Yeah.
of the album, you know that. But also, if you look at the cover art, it's
Thought-provoking.
thought-provoking.
In a way.
So he's praying, but instead of using a prayer mat, the traditional prayer mat that a Muslim would use,
Yeah.
it's the American flag that he's kneeling on and praying. So I feel like
Yeah.
that sets the tone for the album. Pretty good cover art. I mean, if you are surprised by any of the music, then you probably didn't look at the cover.
Yeah, I
don't
guess so.
But I guess to outline the songs that I picked, it was really tough to pick songs. A lot of the songs were worthy of being picked, but I narrowed it down to the ones that I liked best based on the lyrics,
Okay.
as opposed to the music, because the music really didn't strike me as much. I don't really sing along. I really like the messages. But the music was cool because I think a lot of it took from like funk or soul, all these weird instrumentations, and it's a little different than some of his other albums. I listen to some of his older stuff, so it's pretty unique, and it doesn't really rely on hooks or choruses
No, not really.
per se. There are some that pop up in the album from time to time, but nothing that really struck me. And before I get into the album, one last thing. I was looking at someone else's review, and they pointed out that without sounding loud or like without him like seeming confrontational, he addresses these really big topics, but does them in a way that almost seems conversational. Like I know you've heard rappers get like intense,
Yeah.
and they like it's kind of scary sometimes when they're talking about something they're really passionate about. Whereas him, it does almost sound like he's having a conversation, which is kind of cool.
I never thought about it like that, but that's true.
When you listen to it, it definitely does. So, without further ado, here is the review of Mourning in America and Dreaming in Color by Brother Ali. What it do? Track number 1. Since this is also the deluxe edition, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
It's got 18 tracks, is that right? 16 tracks,
16
I'm sorry.
tracks.
Because the track length is so long, I'm going to touch upon the ones that I recommended or honorably mentioned and move past the other ones pretty quickly.
Just say the title and your rating.
I'll try. And I didn't do any fun ratings this time, just out of 5.
Yeah.
Letter to My Countrymen, I gave a 5 out of 5 and recommended.
Okay.
I thought it was a great way to start the album.
Yeah, I think so too.
And like the cover, I think it also sets the tone that it's not really going to attack anyone, but kind of be more common sense, like more down to earth. Like from
I could definitely see that.
like using your morals and not being so negative always. I really like that he starts out by saying he doesn't like America like he used to. Because I thought I used to hate this place.
Yeah.
He used to talk about how he wanted to say that to the president's face, but now he finds that he actually loves it for its ideals, what it could be, and also for its flaws.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool to point out. And he uses the rest of the song to point out how we can make it better. A lot of social imagery, but he also points to racism and slavery and how we can't ignore it. But my favorite part is at the very end of the song, and I'm going to read this quote. It's a little long, but I really like it. He says, "I know the masses want to sleep, and they would just rather hear me rapping to the beat, but I want to pass this world to my son a little better than when it was handed to me, so I wrote a letter to my countrymen. I'll be happy if it only reaches one of them.
Yeah.
So he's clearly given a message for the countrymen, not even just his listenership, I suppose, for everybody equally. And if just one person listens to it and is affected, then he's doing his job.
Yeah. So I think that is a great way to open the album too, because it sets the tone for the entire album.
Yeah.
Because some of the later songs seem more intense than that, like musically, a little bit musically, and also
lyrically,
but
for sure.
Since he has that opening, I think it definitely is like kind of saying that this is dialogue, not.
And I think he even, I believe it was that song where he's like, not a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah. I think it's the line is, this is a letter to my countrymen, not from a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah. Cool song, though. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Song number 2 is called Only Life That I Know. I gave 5 out of 5 and also recommended it.
Oh, really?
So 1, 2, back to back.
It's the only life that I ever know.
And this song's about hardship. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's the only life he ever knows.
It's my life.
Growing up presumably low income, he references a trailer park in a raggedy apartment complex. And he sets this scene pretty well through the imagery and through his lyrics. Like he references a single mom on the steps waiting for the mailman to come because she needs that check. There's boys on the street trying to act tough because they're trying to earn their respect somehow. Girls who are looking for love but end up becoming sexual objects. Drugs, all kind of things. But it's kind of cool. By the end of the song, he presents that the people who are in this situation that he describes generally have 3 main options. Mm-hmm. The first option is to go to school, which is really unpopular, be square, get made fun of or whatever. Graduate, get a house that you can't afford, and eventually die just as poor as you started.
Yeah.
He says that most people find it a terrible route.
Yeah.
And so they're more likely to end up with the second or third options. The second option is to sell drugs, because that's easier to do, given the circumstances, I suppose. And either die in violence, or if you're lucky, go to jail making license plates or whatever, he says.
Yeah.
And the third option is to get on welfare and begin the cycle. Because he talks about, like, you get on welfare and immediately there are people giving you a hard time for not getting a job or something like that. And you can't get a job.
Even if you're trying to get a job.
Yeah. And so it's those 3 options that people are stuck picking from, and there's not really much help or much opportunity for a fourth option. But it's the only life that he's ever known.
Yeah.
And I think that the way he speaks about it, I'm not really entirely sure about his background, but it sounds like it's pretty personal, or maybe he's got some experience. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't him who lives it, he at least knows some people who lived it, or he sees it regularly.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fairly personal.
Yeah, it definitely sounded like it. But it was a really good song. I recommended it. Mm-hmm. On to song number 3, which is called Stop the Press. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, and I gave it honorable mention.
Okay.
Just because it's a really cool song. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
It's a recap of his life since the last album dropped. And the last album that he released before this one was called Us.
Yeah.
And he even talks about how it was kind of a bomb and his heart wasn't really in it.
Yeah.
And he says, there are some songs I was really proud of, but all in all, it wasn't that great.
Right.
And then he kind of talks about everything that's happened after that, with how he's had the most success he's ever had, but he's been the most depressed.
Yeah.
Lots of touring. Having his lifelong friend and DJ had a lot of problems and ended up retiring from touring.
Yeah.
He talks about not connecting with new DJs that he had on tour. The death of his dad while he was on tour. He talks about how he had to come home
from Europe, right?
From somewhere over there. He talks about how just the difficulty of touring, being away from his wife and kids, the suicide of a good friend, and the life-changing trip to Mecca. So that was the only positive thing, because a lot of it was hardships, and then that trip to Mecca. But the song ends with a really cool quote, which is, got a couple of beat tapes from Jake, who's his producer. Genuine dude, and his music is great. I told Zach, who's his booking agent, to hold my tour dates. Roll the tape. I got something to say. So I'm gonna make this album. Let me start it off the right way.
Yeah.
I think I might have messed up word there.
Definitely not why we're not rappers.
Yeah, I don't have much in the way of flow. So it almost seems like that could have been the start of the album. Like
Right.
he's saying, I've learned all this, and now I've got this experience. I've got things I need to say. Roll the tapes. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Which sets up the next song, which is the title track. Morning in America, I gave 4.5 out of 5, but I didn't recommend it. I almost did. I almost gave an honorable mention, but last I couldn't pick it.
Yeah.
I think this might be the most intense song on the album. It's the one that's
Yeah.
the murder, kill.
Death and destruction. Something feel.
Really, it's intense lyrically, intense musically. It's about killing and murder.
This is the one where the I really like the music in this one.
The music's good.
It has that
That was yeah.
this one, right?
Yeah. But he likens soldiers to terrorists.
Well, no, he says
There's a thin line between a soldier
he
and a
says
terrorist.
he said whenever people are like innocent people are dying, I think this is what he said. Like whenever people are dying, there's a really thin line between a soldier and a terrorist.
Yeah. I think he lumps a lot of killing in together, saying if you murder, if you kill, it's hard to justify, and there's always somebody dying, so it's not good.
Yeah.
But as I didn't recommend it, I will move on. Track number 5 is called Gather Round. So Gather Round. I gave it 3 out of 5. Another intense sounding song about complacency. We need to fight for freedom. But I didn't recommend it. Moving on to number 6, which is called Work Every Day. I gave 4 out of 5. And it's about economic hardship and the brokenness
Kinda
or
like
corruptness
that.
of the system.
Kind of like that song earlier was.
Yes, yeah. Another good one, but I don't recommend, so moving on. Track number 7 is called Need a Knot. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, and I almost wanted to recommend it.
Really?
It's kind of a funny song, because he keeps explaining like his situation, and there's 3 different situations. The first verse, it sounds like he's a cocaine dealer. The second sounds like he's a marijuana dealer, and the third sounds like he's a pimp.
Yeah.
But respectively, you find out he's actually a snow shoveler, a lawnmower, and a broom pusher at a hair salon.
Yeah.
Like in the when you think he's being a marijuana dealer, he's like, yo, I come in, my old lady can smell the green on my clothes.
Yeah, but he's
You're like, it's
but actually, I was just mowing lawns.
yeah. You're like, oh, she was smelling the lawn clippings on his clothing.
Yeah.
It's a really funny song, but also I think he's probably pointing out that your mind just goes to these stereotypes or
you
generalizations
just
about
assume.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in the first verse, I think he's talking about how his clients, all their noses are dripping
Yeah, because it's cold.
because it's cold outside.
Oh, it's a funny song. Wish I could talk about it more, but as it's not recommended, it gets to move on. Track number 8 is called One More Hit, but 1 is spelled W-O-N. I give it 3.5 out of 5. I really like the instrumental in the verse, but I don't really care about the hook. And it's about watering down rap to sell to the masses.
Yeah.
And kind of about the music industry.
Please, oh please, just give us one more hit.
But moving on to track number 9 is called Say Amen.
Say amen.
I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Amen.
And this one is also about the exact same thing about mainstream hip-hop. I think he's calling out some people in this song.
I have no idea.
But this one sounds a lot different because it's got like a rock feel. There's a guitar in it.
Oh yeah. There's
There's a guitar playing in the background, so it's got like a rock and roll feel. Track number 10 is called Fajr, F-A-J-R.
Fajr.
I give it 3 out of 5. I did read that is an Arabic word for dawn.
Oh, okay, for Dawn. Okay.
And this song is about hope. It's still pretty conscious and worldly, I suppose. But it's not like calling out bad things. It's given hope.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a change of pace lyrically, I'd say.
That's pretty cool.
But musically, I didn't really care for it. It's not a bad song. Track number 11 is called Namesake. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. And it's literally about his namesake, Muhammad Ali, like paying homage to it. So it's kind of cool that he's talking about that. Moving on to track number 12, which is called All You Need. I gave it 5 out of 5, and it's my last recommendation.
Nice.
I'd say it might be, other than Stop the Press, where he's talking about all the things that's happened since the last album, I think this might be the most personal song on the album.
Yeah, I would say so.
It starts off with him recounting this one instance where he just came back from one of his first major tours, whereas you people would say tour.
Tours.
Yes. And he comes home to find that his baby, like a toddler,
His son,
his baby or he's a young baby.
Young
Let's just say
child.
baby. He's probably a baby.
Probably like 1 or 2.
Had somehow gotten into a pot of boiling water and got it all over his head while the mom was asleep and neglecting him.
Yeah.
So he, like I said earlier, he's legally blind. He doesn't have his license. He has to call a cab and take the kid to the hospital. And he ends up like staying overnight, sleeping in a chair next to his baby while he's getting treated. But the mom just hops on a bus and goes home or to work or at home and never comes, never visits. And he's like, that's when I decided to divorce you in my head. God may forgive you for that. I never did.
will. Yeah.
And the second part of the song is him talking to his son.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to him why his ex-wife, the son's mom, is the way that she is. Which is kind of an interesting thing to like say all this horrible, like not horrible things, but kind of point out all these flaws and then put some perspective on it, give it a little lens. Because he's talking about how the mom grew up in the foster care because her mom was always on drugs and a terrible mother. So she never knew what a mother's supposed to be, and she never knew love. And so she ended up repeating the cycle of what she knew.
Yeah.
So he's
explaining
to his son.
There's always 2 sides to a situation. Or
Kind of
always 2 sides to a coin.
There is.
Unless you're Two-Face.
yeah.
And there's only one side. Technically.
Let's flip a coin for it, boys.
Heads you win, tails you lose.
Heads you win, heads you win.
Oh gosh. Oh man. But anyways, this song was super vulnerable, I think, for him to write and actually put this out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Musically, it's really catchy, but I think the lyrics were so gripping, like the storytelling, that I almost didn't pay attention to the music.
Yeah, and I think that seems like a good goal, right?
I'd say so, because I'm always listening to it. I've listened to this song a ton of times, but every time I'm focused in on the lyrics because it's really a heartfelt, gripping, personal story. But great song, 5 out of 5, recommended.
Nice.
On to song number 13. It's called My Beloved. I gave it 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
It's probably my least favorite.
I like that song a lot. My beloved, my beloved, my beloved.
I don't really care for music.
That's kind of a cool message, though, isn't it?
Yes, it's a love. It's about love. A
Well, I
couple
don't- I
different
don't
forms of love.
Yeah. It's about someone in his life who had loved him, and like that's how he became who he is.
Yeah, not necessarily like loving a woman per se.
No.
But it's different. It's about different types of love.
Yeah, I think at the end of the song, he's like, "This song goes out to Monet,
Yeah.
or so."
Like I said in my notes, don't care for the music, but nice message about love. Like every song has got a great message in it, and it's worth reading the lyrics. But moving on, track number 14. It's called "Singing This Song." I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Singing this song,
Which is another positive song again, about believing, working towards being better, like self-love. He references a bunch of artists in the song. A bunch of people, I have no idea who they are, but some I do, like John Lennon, Chuck D from Public Enemy, Bob Dylan, Martin Luther and his wife.
Yeah.
So I think he's talking about these people were inspirational and gave a lot of good messages. And
they're all kind of, the way that I kind of see it is that they're all like singing for the same thing, or like singing about the same things, or like you said, the same message.
do you know Chuck D from Public Enemy?
No.
D, Public Enemy #1. He wears a pirate's hat a lot. I like Chuck D.
Oh, does he now?
Yeah. Do you know who else is in Public Enemy?
No.
Flava Flav.
Flava Flav.
Flava Flav is the son. Public Enemy #1.
Is he the guy who wears a big clock?
Yeah. He's so funny. He sometimes
He
wears a
must.
Viking helmet.
He must have trouble remembering the time.
Maybe, or maybe he did it once and people thought it was hilarious. He's like, I got my gimmick. I'm keeping this for life.
I'm good to go.
He's like, I'm just fine. On to track number 15, titled Just Fine.
Nice.
I give this 3.75 out of 5. And this is the first out of the last 2 songs, which are bonus tracks.
Yeah.
This song is unlike all the other songs in the album. Instead of having like a message about positivity or a message about socioeconomic, political, whatever, it's a song about how all that stuff's heavy and sometimes he just needs to check out and take a break.
Yeah.
And it goes through what his day would be like when he takes his break.
Yeah.
Goes out to breakfast with his buddy, hangs out with his kid, goes into his basement,
Goes to the
listens to
park.
music.
Goes to the park and
Yeah.
swings his children on the swings.
Yeah,
Goes and jams in his basement.
yeah, just has a nice day. But moving on to the last song, number 16, is called Dreaming in Color, so that kind of completes the title track. I gave it 4 out of 5, and it's another heavy, intense song, like Morning in America. And it's about, I think, having the dream and taking initiative and just, I don't know, doing everything with heart.
Yeah.
Dreaming in color!
Dreaming in color, color.
Anyways, Morning in America and Dreaming in Colors is a really good album. The lyrics are, you gotta read the lyrics. He's pretty clear with his pronunciations.
Yeah,
so after a couple
really
listens,
is.
you
He
can
really
pretty much
is.
get the message. But it's definitely worth looking up the lyrics if you can't. I do want to point out that I listened to a bunch of his other music, and there's this one song called Forrest Whitaker, and that's my favorite song by him. I can't get it out of my head. He talks about how he's a little overweight, how he's albino, and he has terrible fashion sense, but he sees himself as like the image of God, and how he's like, I'm a good looking guy, and I'm just gonna, anyone who says like otherwise, I don't need them in my life.
Yeah.
Check that song out. It's called Forrest Whitaker. We'll put a link on the website. Great song.
Cool. On to a group who is a little bit less, I wouldn't say less serious or like less intense, but
A little more comical though, for sure.
definitely a little bit more comical. Their music is more comical in my opinion. And their lyrics aren't as deep, but I think they're saying kind of a lot of the same things.
Yeah, and this album in particular, I think is
It's more like political for them, I would assume.
yes, for definitely from some of their past releases.
Again, I have listened to the album "To the Five Boroughs" by the Beastie Boys. If you guys are familiar with the Beastie Boys, you probably know "Brass Monkey"
Fight for Your
and
Right to
"Fight for
Party,
Your Right to Party."
No Sleep Till Brooklyn,
Yeah,
Inter-
"Brass Monkey."
Intergalactic,
Intergalactic
Man, you know it.
Okay.
Sabotage,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Sabotage.
Sabotage.
Yeah, that's
They got a
good one.
bunch of good songs.
So, if you're more used to hearing like "Brass Monkey," that funky monkey,
Or you gotta fight for your right to party.
if you're more used to hearing that, like that type of Beastie Boys, then this album might, some of the songs will take you, will throw you for a loop.
A loop.
It's almost as if you went on a slide, and then right before you're about to reach the end, right before you're about to reach your destination, all of a sudden this loop-de-loop appeared out of nowhere, and then you were sent for that loop.
Yeah, it's like if you're watching that movie Halloween, and Michael Myers is chasing you with his knife, and then he stops and says, "Why don't you get away from me, donkey?"
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I had to. That's the wrong Mike Myers.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's actually what his name is.
I got inspiration of that Mike Myers slip up from the movie Baby Driver. Remember they wanted to get masked from Halloween, Mike Myers, and he shows up with Austin Power masks. Classic mix-up. Sorry to interrupt. Beastie Boys are obviously from New York City, in case you can't tell from the title.
Yes.
And
To
they
the
are
Five
very
Boroughs.
in love with New York City.
They are, and this
they'll talk
in
about
this
later.
album it's very evident that they are.
Yeah. Do you know the 5 boroughs? I mean, I know they talk about it in the one song, but can you list them?
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
Bronx,
Bronx,
Queens,
Staten,
Staten,
and Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah.
To the 5 boroughs. We know the 5 boroughs. American Brews and Tunes has 5 boroughs.
What are our 5 boroughs?
Our 5 boroughs are beer, music,
Humor,
burps,
beards,
and burps.
beards and burps.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's our 5 boroughs.
5 boroughs. You heard it here. You heard it first.
You heard it here, you heard it first. American Brews and Tunes has 5 boroughs. Music, beer, humor, beard, burps.
Wow. Thank you, announcer, for that.
Well, yes.
Great job, announcer.
You can go take a break now, if you'd like.
Okay, I'll take a break until the end of the episode. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, that announcer, he just likes to come in from time to time and just say things.
I think that's the That's our second character that we have on this show.
We've got the announcer and we've got
Old Man Rust.
Old Man Rust. Yeah, Old Man Rust. I made sure to tell him that we
Yeah,
were recording
he's-
tomorrow, so he's not coming today.
Yeah, he's going to be here tomorrow, and we won't be recording then.
Yeah.
Joke's on him.
Joke's on him.
Silly Old Man Rust. Anyway, let me get started on this album.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to be able to go into all the songs, but I wanted to still talk about each song, so I'm choosing my favorite lyric
Fair enough.
from the ones that I don't recommend,
There's plenty to choose from.
because some of them are very, very funny. So the first track is called "Check It Out."
Check
Check it out. What's it all about? First of all, what are their names? Mike D,
Ad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D.
Ad
Their real
Rock.
names are Adam Yacht, Michael Diamond, and what was the other one? Ad Rock,
MCA.
MCA. Oh, that's Adam Yacht. Mike D is Michael Diamond, and Adam Rock, I think his name's Adam Yorowitz.
Okay.
Real like New York Jewish sounding name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all three white dudes from New York.
Unfortunately, MCA is no longer with us. He passed on. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that one of them died.
He died of cancer shortly after they were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he at least got to live to see that. But Mike D and Ad Rock said they're not going to continue Beastie Boys without him out of respect.
Makes sense.
Bummer. Sorry, I'll let
That's
you
all right.
back to check it out.
I think it's a great album opener. Album opener.
Yeah.
Album opener. My favorite. I did not recommend it. I gave it 4 to 5 though.
I love this song.
My favorite lyric is, or one of my favorite lyrics from the song is, "Now get your clothes right out the dryer. Put armor all up on your tire. Sport that fresh attire."
Sport that fresh.
It goes like super.
attire.
Yeah, it goes like super quiet and it pans between
Yeah.
the ears, and it's like fresh attire.
How they talk about like Nick at Night and all these fun things at the
In
beginning.
one of them, they do. Yeah.
Hey doctor, what's the condition? I'm a man that's on a mission. I love this song. I think it was up for a Grammy.
It's just
in
so.
2004,
It's just so
2005.
silly.
It is. It's a really fun song.
That's all I'm gonna say about that song, though. On to track number 2, it's called "Right Now Now."
That one I'd say was a little bit more.
It kind of starts more
Socially
minor. It's definitely more socially conscious. Also, I noticed that in a couple of these songs, in this one and another one, they started off by saying, "Oh, oh."
they if you listen to that, they like to do that noise like a
They go,
lot,
"Oh, oh."
all over the place.
It's so funny.
And they'll just randomly drop that in the middle of songs, all over the place, all over the place.
When I first heard that, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
It's like if you let a little kid in the recording studio, it's like, we can just do whatever we want. Oh, oh man.
oh my gosh, it's so funny.
This has got like a harpsichord on the song, right?
Yeah, it has like a minor being. I think the
Different than anything else sounding on the album, I'd say.
yeah. But it seems to me that it's like a song about wanting to take action right now.
Yeah.
And
Not let things get worse.
Yeah, it's about unity and not wanting to propagate violence. Is kind of what I gleaned from it.
Now, for those of you who don't know what propagate is, Jesse will explain it.
Yeah, it just means to continue in a continuation.
Now that we all know what that means, I'll let you.
Propagate would probably be to like actively continue.
Yeah.
right?
Now that we know what that means, let Jesse propagate his review. I'll let you-
not before I take another sip of this delicious beer.
Yeah, propagate your taste buds, sipping the taste, and now propagate your review.
Okay.
Begin the propagation.
That was that was it for the review. I'm just gonna say my next my favorite lyric, which is more of a serious one. I can't remember who's rapping at this point, but they say, "I went to get a loan and they asked my race. I wrote down human inside the space."
It's about the space.
Instead of like writing their actual race.
Yeah.
So I
So
was like,
why
I
would
was
that
like-
matter on a loan?
I was like, nice. Kind of a cool, I don't know, a cool line.
Yeah, it is a cool line.
The next song is called "Three the Hard Way." This is basically a song about how awesome they are.
They have a lot of songs like
Pretty
this.
much all it is.
Like, we're the best 3 rappers, yo. That kind of, yeah.
I think
that happens all over the place.
the main line from this one is, "We're gonna rock this three the hard way, three the hard way, three the hard way."
Oh man, only the
now-
Beastie Boys could get away with that.
This is my favorite lyric from it because I didn't recommend it either. "Now we be grilling cheese and flipping flapjacks, with the diamond stylus, yo, we cutting wax."
That is technically how they cut wax to make records.
With the diamond stylus.
Yeah,
Yeah. But his last name's also Diamond. I think Mike D was rapping there.
Dad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D. I go by the name of. I'll just never mind. I'll let you continue.
Okay. Track number 4 is called "It Takes Time to Build," and this is also another kind of socially conscious song. So this song is kind of, I would say they're like trying to figure out a way to like build things the right way.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to like move. They want society to move in what they believe is the right direction, as opposed to the way it was going at that time. And there weren't too many funny lyrics in this one. They're all fairly serious.
I think this is a serious one. Yeah.
So track number 5 is called "Rhyme the Rhyme Well."
This is the one where you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, it's so funny. I didn't recommend it, but it's still really good though. My favorite lyric is, "I'm the player and the coach, and I'm no roach. I bought my grandma a brand new brooch."
Brooch.
Because he says brand new brooch. It's so ridiculous.
Why? I'll tell you why.
And the coach.
The reason why is
I
because
ain't no roach.
why not?
Yeah,
Brooch.
brooch. On to my first recommendation, which is track number 6,
This is
which
definitely
is
one of my
called
favorites.
"Triple Trouble."
I don't know if you're gonna go into there, but I could tell you my favorite line from this song.
Yeah, it's definitely the same one.
Are you gonna read
but
it
it's-
out?
Well, I'm gonna start it, and then you can finish it. I recommended it, but it's a really funny song, and they each kind of like describe who they are. There's also a cowbell in this song.
If you want to know the real deal about the three, we're gonna hit you with triple trouble, y'all. We're gonna bring you up to speed. Now check it out.
Not check it out. Sharp cheddar, my rhymes are better.
Now what in the Helen of Troy is that? Did I hear you say my rhymes are whack? That's the best line. What in the Helen of Troy is that?
Did I hear you say my rhymes is whack?
It's so hilarious.
So ridiculous.
That's Ad Rock doing that one.
But it's great though. Yeah, I just think it's funny how he says sharp cheddar, my rhymes are better. Just to rhyme with better, he says sharp.
Quick,
cheddar.
slightly related Gress.
Okay.
I know I've showed you this before, but for all of you listeners out there, there is a fun mashup called The Beastles, where this person mashed, I guess, Beatles songs with Beastie Boy songs. And on this song, they mixed Triple Trouble with Day Tripper. And so it's called Tripper Trouble. It goes do 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 do. If you want to know, it's just so funny.
I remember you showing me that, and it actually sounds pretty cool.
It's really, there's some really kind of stupid sounding songs on there, but that one's cool.
Yeah,
I got my buddy John Hartman to say thanks for showing me that one.
yeah.
I think I don't know if he was I can't remember if he was a Beastie Boy fan, but he was definitely a big Beatles fan, and maybe he knew that I liked the Beastie Boys, so he showed me that. But who knows?
Anyway, that's a great song. It's my first recommendation.
It's so catchy.
I mean, like all these songs are really catchy. That's the thing.
And I guess it's this album compared to their album before, which is called Hello Nasty. I think they stripped back the beats a little bit, make them a little bit more simple. Like there's nothing really like I'd say super duper flashy. Like some songs have things that stand out, like Triple Trouble stands out, Right Now stands out with the but otherwise it's nothing too crazy. If you go back and listen to the album before, there's stuff going all over the place.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. But the next song is called "Hey You."
Oh yeah, they got the F word in there.
And I didn't recommend it, but there are a couple of lyrics from this one that I like.
Yeah.
The beginning of it, someone says "shabadoo." They say "shabadoo, shabadee, shabadee, shabadoo." For some reason.
Because why not? Because it's funny.
Yeah, and then this is another lyric that I like. I can't remember who it was, but he said, "You people call yourselves MCs, but you're garbage men, taking out the trash when you pull out the pen."
Oh man, main hook's from a sample, right? They put in some guy saying, "Hey, F you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goofy. I guess we should interject right here that both albums do have some strong language. If you're
Yes.
offended, if it's that big of a problem where you can't hear curse words, if it'll really turn you off, then don't listen. If you can get past it, I think both albums are worth listening to.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
On to my next recommendation, just because I like the way it sounds.
Word.
Yeah. It's track number 8 called "Oh Word."
I'm surprised you picked this one.
This is another song that introduces each member, and like each member like just talks about themselves.
They like to do this a lot.
Yeah.
Every single album.
But the thing I like about this song is that there's like a robot voice that introduces them all. Mm-hmm. So like the robot voice would be like Mike D, and then like he'll start rapping.
And rock.
Yeah. The first line, I just wrote down like the first half of a line from this one. It's the first line of the song. They say, "Yo, what the schnitzel?" It's the first line.
Yo, what the schnitzel?
That's the first line of the whole song. And whenever I first heard it, I was like, "What the heck? Yo, what the schnitzel?"
That's so funny. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into a German restaurant and they're I don't think there's anyone German working there in Nashville, but if someone comes and is like, "Oh, guten Tag, what can I get for your menu request?" And I'll say, "Yo, what the schnitzel?" He says, "Oh, you want the schnitzel?" Yeah, I say, "No,
What the schnitzel?
I want a pretzel." With beer cheese soup. Oh man, that's a funny line.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, I just like the way that song sounds too.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So track number 9 is called "That's It, That's All," and this song also starts off with a ooh ooh.
I'm telling you, every album there's plenty of those.
Yes, there is. There's also a funny lyric that I decided to write down after the ooh-oohs.
Ooh,
Yeah. I believe it is Ad Rock who says this one. But he says, "Look what the cat dragged in, the creme de la creme without the skim." As in like skim milk, I think.
man,
Well,
I do love skim milk. Actually, I don't.
I don't drink milk anymore, so
My mom would get skim milk from time to time. We were mainly a 1%.
you know what? I believe
milk drinking family.
I believe we were also either a 1% or a 2%. Never a whole milk.
I grew up on 2%, but then whenever 1% became more widely available, that's what we went to. 1% milk.
Was it never widely available before?
I have no idea, man. I could be BSing right now. I have no idea.
Oh my
But
goodness.
for the majority of my life, I'd say we had 1%.
Huh.
Sorry to digress. I'll let you get back to the song.
That's all right. Well, that was it for that song. I just got a few more songs to touch on here. The next song is track number 11, and it's called Shazam!
Shazam!
that was a nice post.
Oh, yeah.
Shazam!
When you say Shazam, you put your left hand over your head and your right hand like you're scrubbing your armpit.
Yeah.
Shazam!
And if we were not sitting down, you'd also have to jump up and do a heel click.
Yes.
Oh, Shazam!
Heel click.
Anyway, this song is pretty good, but I didn't want to write down all these lyrics because there are a couple really funny ones, so I'm just going to read you them from Lyric Genius.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so one of them is, "I'd like a lettuce, tomato, and Munster on rye. All this cheese is gonna make me cry. Gorgonzola, provolone, don't even get me started on this microphone."
Oh, gosh.
And then,
You know in New York, like sandwiches are big, right?
yeah.
Like there's a deli on every street corner.
Yeah.
Sandwich shops all over the place. So there you go. There you go!
But this next one's the best. "Blowing up like my name is Joe Bazooka. I'm a super duper MC party pooper. On a track so sick it'll make you feel all queasy. Make you do like Fred Sanford with I'm coming wheezy." Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
Oh, man.
There's also later he talks about a bedazzler, so it makes his outfit tight. I'm in the lab all day. I scrabble all night. I got a bedazzler so my outfit's tight.
And he doesn't mean tight as in form-fitting. He means tight as in cool.
A bedazzler.
His outfit's bedazzled. That's such an old reference.
It's so funny.
I don't think I've ever.
And this is the song.
Bedazzled items. My sister bedazzled things. I think. Probably.
I never did either.
Probably.
But this is a song where they say, "Everybody get down, everybody get down." Yeah. Anyway, that song's good. That was called Shazam. But on to my last recommendation, track number 12.
Good choice.
Probably the most serious song on the album, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
Also, like, not very many funny lyrics either.
But it was definitely not meant to be a funny song.
It's a very serious song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called An Open Letter to NYC.
Yeah. New York City, for those of you who don't know what NYC means.
For those of you not in the know, that is New York City.
It's pretty underground knowing what NYC is.
Yeah,
If
true.
you're among the
welcome.
lucky few, then there you go.
Well, now that you're listening to this, you are among the lucky few.
Oh, gosh. NYC.
NYC. The song is about... The song... I shouldn't say what is about. I would say this song clearly is a huge example of how much they love New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They list the 5 boroughs in the chorus.
They list the 5 boroughs in the chorus, but they also... they talk a lot about, like, what I assume are, like, personal places that they like.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, personal places that they go a lot in NYC.
New York City, once again.
Yeah. Just in case you didn't catch it last time, it's NYC is New York City. Yeah. And the song is basically about unifying as a city regardless of color or ethnicity.
Yes.
Is basically what it's about. The chorus, or the hook, chorus, whatever you want to call it, says it all. They say, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Staten, from the Battery to the top of Manhattan, Asian, Middle Eastern, and Latin, black, white, New York, you make it happen.
And New York City is pretty well known for being a melting pot of a lot of cultures. Obviously, back in the day when immigrants would come to America, a lot of them would come through
Ellis
if
Island.
they came over the ocean, a lot of them would come from Ellis Island. And so New York City is the first place they came.
Yeah.
Obviously, not everyone, but, you know, a lot of people, a lot of cultures coming through New York.
Yeah, so I think it's...
Like people from Amsterdam! Whoopsie daisy!
Not again. Not again, no!
We're going to look out for the dead rabbits.
No, not again.
Sorry. I won't bring that back up.
Please don't.
Okay.
Anyway,
Let's just get back to NYC right now.
Okay, let's do it. Shazam! What the schnitzel? Yo, what the schnitzel?
Okay.
What in the Helen of Troy is that?
Did I hear you say
My rhymes is whack. But anyway, all those little gresses that we had are not to take away from this song's message.
I think this has got one of the most powerful messages on the album.
Yeah, it definitely does. They talk about how even though the two towers are gone, like they have to stay united as a city.
Yeah.
And like fight through whatever hardships come their way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of really cool to hear that from a band that I have known for so long, just to be kind of like a joking around band, you know.
From their first album, Licensed to Ill, do you know the song "Girls"?
Yeah.
Do girls. All I really want is girls. So
Yeah.
From that song to Letter to NYC is a big difference.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's pretty. It's kind of cool to see. So I give that song 5 out of 5 and recommended it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just mention these last 3 songs. I didn't look at many lyrics for them, but they're pretty good though. The track number 13 is called Crawl Space, and it's about taking out all those other sucker MCs that are worse than them, basically. Track 14 is called The Brouhaha.
Mm-hmm.
Brouhaha! The Brouhaha is, I guess, the party or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then track number 15 is We Got The. And this song is kind of a good way to end the album. Because it's basically saying, like, hey, who has the power to change? Who has the power to make a difference? We got the power to make a difference and make a change.
Yeah.
So
Kind of leaves you hanging off that.
Yeah, kind of the same ending that the Brother Ali album had. I I believe anyway.
Like take initiative.
Take initiative and go do it yourself. So kind of a good way to end an album. I definitely was not expecting this album to be that serious.
Yeah, I had a hard time because I knew I was going to recommend a Beastie Boy album. I had a hard time picking out which one because there are albums that have other songs that are way more popular, way more that were bigger hits, I suppose.
Yeah.
There are albums I like better, but I thought this would be a good one. I don't know.
It would just be a good one to recommend.
I ended up settling on this one.
Well, like I said, it's kind of nice. It's nice to see a more serious side of a band that most people view as a jokey band.
You know what they like musically? What they were originally?
No,
they were a
rock?
hardcore punk band.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Like they played it like CBGB's.
That's interesting.
They had like a 4-piece hardcore punk band, and on some of their earlier albums, like maybe their second or third album, there's a couple punk songs on there.
Yeah, Sabotage.
But even that's not really a punk song. Like I'm talking fast, like
really like
punk
fast.
Songs. Yeah, I'll show you later. But
okay.
But they, I think they had one song that was kind of like into the hip hop realm, and it ended up being like a huge underground hit. And they're like, maybe we should do this.
Huh.
And the rest is, as they say, history.
As they say, the rest is history.
Both are good albums as far as rap goes. Quick little message for you guys. Next episode will be episode 33, and that means repeat. So
repeat.
We're gonna recommend
repeat.
Artists that we've already reviewed albums for. We're gonna recommend different albums from those artists. So what I'm gonna recommend for you, Jesse, is from the band No Effects. I know previously I had you listen to Punk and Drublick.
Yep.
Now I'm going to have you listen to The War on Errorism.
The War on Errorism.
Not terrorism, errorism.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm going to bring it way back.
Oh, yeah?
Bring it way back.
Okay.
Way back.
What, the Frank
To
Turner?
the second episode.
Oh, second episode.
I believe I recommended this band for you in the second episode.
What is it?
The Shins.
Oh, if my memory serves me, that probably was the second episode.
And instead of Kissing the Lipless, which is what I recommended for you the second episode, I'm going to recommend for you one of their more recent albums. It's called Port of Morrow.
Oh, you're going at the Port of Morrow.
Yep,
Why
exactly.
you thought the Irish will get to the Port of Morrow? Oh, it feel like a church at the Port of Morrow.
Oh my gosh, let's not start this again.
Oh, fellow potatoes are coming from the Port of Morrow.
From the Port of Morrow.
I don't even know what that port is, but I'm excited to hear it because I like the Shins quite a bit. I know I've listened to, like you said, Kissing the Lipless, and their most recent album, which is called
Heartworms.
Heartworms, that's correct, which I really like a lot.
It's a great album, yeah.
But I'm excited to listen to Port of Morrow. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I would say that Port of Morrow is a little bit different than Heartworms, but
yeah, either way,
it's still really good.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Who's there?
Oh, no, it couldn't be.
It couldn't be. I thought we ditched him. Oh, hello, boys. Are you almost done with your poo cast?
No! It's Old Man Rust!
Old Man Rust?
What are you doing?
Hey?
What are you doing here, Old Man Rust?
Oh, you guys are recording one of those poo casts again,
No,
huh?
Old Man Rust. Podcast. We explained this last time. Podcast. It's internet radio.
Oh, right.
Free for the ears.
Well, you see, I thought you were recording that yesterday. I mean, tomorrow. My mind's slipping sometimes now.
Old Man Rust, your dementia is killing me. I mean, it's affecting you, but it's killing me. Old Man Rust.
Old Man Rust, go outside and wait. We'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, well, you know what, Old Man Rust? We'll take you out for some corned beef hash after this.
Oh, wow, that does sound delicious.
We'll get you some diner coffee and corned beef hash.
Yeah,
okay?
Old Man Rust, you probably like diner coffee, okay? You're probably one of those people who likes diner coffee.
And don't worry, I got a takeout container of prune juice for you.
Oh, wow. Well, that just wets my whistle right to your way, boys. So I'll leave you alone to finish your podcast.
That probably what's more than just his whistle, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, gosh. All right, Old Man Rust, we'll catch you in a few minutes, okay?
Yeah, get out of here.
We just got to sign off and finish our beers.
Okay, boys. I'll talk to you on the down low later. TTYL, as you know, that one guy says. Bye.
Man. Does he know
Man.
what TTYL means?
I don't know. What a crazy guy.
Yeah, I thought that for
He's
sure.
so
We wouldn't
old.
have seen him. He's so rusty. Well,
He's so rusty. Anyway, now that we're done with that rude intrusion of Old Man Rust, we'll
that rude intrusion.
we'll give a final review of these beers, and then clickety clank and say the magic word, and then sign off.
My beer actually did change a little. I'm
Did it?
gonna say
Okay.
not always does it happen. From time to time, it does. I think I got used to the bitter flavor.
Oh, okay.
And so I was no longer surprised by how bitter it was, and the strong ale arrogant bastard double bastard flavor that I'm used to came through. So it's much more present than it
Interesting. So
initially was.
it kind of mellowed out as it got warmer.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And like I said before, this beer is 2.5 years old, so it probably tasted different originally.
I would think probably a little bit different.
Yeah, 2 years of cellar aging is definitely going to do something, but it would have some similarities.
I'm guessing
Maybe a little bit more intense.
I'm guessing the coffee flavor or the espresso flavor would probably be a little bit less if it was new.
Yeah, I think the strong ale flavor mellowed out a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about yours? Any
As far
change?
as my beer, it's definitely gotten way better as it mellowed out. It tastes way more boozy now.
Interesting.
Like it feels like it's stronger almost. But it's not.
I know that's normally the case. Booziness comes through as the temperature rises.
Yeah. So it's still really good though.
Yeah.
Still a very good beer. Very very much satisfied with it.
What do you say we give it the old slogan and sign off until next week?
Sounds good.
All right. Once again, my name is Stephen Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Titus.
Okay. And this is American Brews and Tunes. Don't forget to give us a like or a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can look us up
so desire.
at American Brews and Tunes. Send us an email at americanbrewsandtunes@gmail.com. You know, just live the dream. Shout us out. Reference us. Send us an email. Like us on Facebook. Direct message us. Give us a follow. Like the pictures. Look at our videos.
Yeah, do it. You know what?
Do it all.
Do whatever you want. And of course,
our website. brewsandtunespodcast.com. Look it up. That's where all our bonus content is.
True, yeah.
Yeah. And
And
shout
of
us
course-
out if you want us to do something.
Oh yeah, true. If you do want us to listen to an album
For a
that you
one-off?
really like for a one-off, just DM us on one of those or send us an email.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again for listening, guys. We appreciate it.
What the schnitzel?
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity